The office was buzzing with the usual hum of phones ringing and heels clicking against polished floors. The receptionist, Sarah, was typing swiftly, replying to emails while glancing occasionally at the lobby doors. It was another typical Monday morning, filled with meetings, deadlines, and coffee-fueled hustle. But that morning was about to be anything but ordinary. Just past 8:45 a.m., the glass doors slid open and in walked a little boy, no taller than the receptionist's desk, dressed in a tiny suit and clutching a manila folder in both hands. His shoes squeaked slightly on the marble floor as he stepped forward, his eyes wide with determination. The receptionist looked up, expecting to see a parent trailing behind him. But he was alone. "Hi," the boy said politely, standing on tiptoes to peer over the counter. "I'm here for Mommy's job." Sarah blinked, caught off guard. "Excuse me," he repeated it. "I'm here for Mommy's job. She couldn't come today, so I'm doing it." It took her a few moments to gather her thoughts. What's your name, sweetheart?" "Eli," he answered proudly. "Eli Carter." "Eli Carter," she repeated, searching her memory. The name sounded familiar. Then it clicked. Melissa Carter was one of the applicants scheduled for a final interview that morning. She had been shortlisted for a marketing manager role. It was a competitive position with dozens of hopefuls, and Melissa had made it to the final round. Sarah knelt to Eli's level. "Where's your mommy, Eli?" "She was crying this morning," he said seriously. "She said she can't come because my baby sister is sick again. She wanted to cancel the interview, but she needs this job. So I came instead." The receptionist's heart squeezed. Before she could ask another question, Eli placed the folder on the counter. "This is Mommy's work. She showed it to me last night. She worked very hard." Sarah slowly opened the folder. Inside were detailed marketing plans, printed presentation slides, charts, and sticky notes. Everything was meticulously arranged. There was even a handwritten note tucked in the back, as if Melissa had anticipated needing a backup. "I know she wants to talk to the big boss today," Eli added. "Can you tell him I'm here?" In the office upstairs, CEO Richard Lawson was prepping for a strategy meeting when his assistant buzzed in. "Richard, you might want to come down to the lobby." He frowned. "Why? You just need to see it for yourself." Minutes later, the elevator dinged and Richard stepped into the lobby. He spotted Sarah first, then noticed the small boy standing patiently beside her desk. When Eli turned to him, he straightened up and walked over. "Are you the boss?" Eli asked. "I am," Richard said, puzzled. "And you are?" "I'm Eli. I'm here because Mommy couldn't come." Richard glanced at Sarah, who quickly summarized the situation in hushed tones. The CEO knelt beside Eli and extended his hand. "Nice to meet you, Eli. May I see what you brought?" Eli handed him the folder, watching closely as the man flipped through it. Richard had reviewed many presentations in his life, but something about this one felt different. The dedication, the clarity, the personal touch, it was evident this woman hadn't just wanted a job. She had poured her heart into the opportunity. "Would you like to tell me more about your mommy?" he asked. Eli's eyes lit up. "She's really smart. She used to make people want to buy stuff with her words. She made big companies more famous. But then Daddy went away, and Mommy had to stay home to take care of me and my sister. Now we really need this job." The entire lobby had gone quiet. Employees paused, listening to the child with a maturity far beyond his years. Even Sarah found herself misty-eyed. Richard stood up, the folder still in hand. "Eli, do you have a phone number where I can call your mommy?" The boy nodded and pulled a crumpled note from his blazer pocket. Richard walked to his office, made the call, and 20 minutes later, Melissa Carter arrived, flustered, apologetic, and clearly holding back tears. "I'm so sorry," she said, breathless. "My daughter had a fever, and I couldn't find anyone to watch her. I thought I'd have to cancel and give up. I didn't know Eli had come here." Richard raised his hand gently. "Melissa, please, your son may have just conducted the most honest interview I've ever seen." She looked shocked. "What? He told me your story. He showed me your work. And he spoke from his heart." Melissa's eyes welled up. "I didn't put him up to this. I swear, he must have." Richard smiled. "I believe you. And more importantly, I believe in you. I'd like to officially offer you the position." There was silence for a moment before Melissa gasped, covering her mouth. "Are you serious?" "Completely," he said. "But I do suggest you give Eli a small commission." Eli beamed. The news spread quickly across the office, and beyond. By the next day, the story had gone viral. A local journalist who'd been at the building for another interview overheard the exchange and shared the encounter online. People from all over the country were touched by the story of a young boy's love for his mother, his courage, and his CEO's compassion. Messages poured in, praising the kindness shown by both the child and the company. Melissa received countless words of encouragement, offers for freelance work, and even a small scholarship fund from a local nonprofit for Eli and his sister's future education. As weeks passed, Melissa settled into her new role with ease. She brought creativity, drive, and fresh perspectives to the company's campaigns. But she also brought a new spirit to the team, one rooted in sincerity, family, and perseverance. Every now and then, little Eli would come to visit, proudly walking through the office halls as if he belonged there. Everyone knew who he was. Some jokingly called him the youngest intern, while others simply called him the little hero who changed everything. One afternoon, during a company town hall, Richard invited Melissa on stage to share her experience. When she finished, he looked at the audience and said, "There are moments in business where numbers and performance take a backseat to something more important, character. That morning, I met a 4-year-old boy who reminded me why we do what we do. Behind every resume is a story. And sometimes, if we listen closely, we might hear a voice that changes our whole perspective." Applause filled the room. That day, it wasn't just a job offer that had been extended, it was a bridge of hope. For Melissa, for her children, and for anyone who'd ever felt like life's challenges had pushed them to the brink. One little boy had carried the weight of his mother's dreams on his tiny shoulders, and opened the door to a brighter future. And so, soul-stirring stories shared yet another tale, not just to entertain, but to remind us all of the quiet power of love, courage, and the unexpected heroes among us. Sometimes, it only takes a child's voice to make the world stop and listen.